So I'm going to be doing, I'm trying to figure out a progression that I want to do a song with using, and it's going to be doing this. It's going to be going E, maybe low E, maybe this first E here, maybe both, I'm not sure. I'm probably going to bounce around between the two, and then it's going to be an A, okay? And then there's going to be a G sharp, or an A sharp, sorry. And it's going to be a B, so kind of like a chromatic sort of a thing in there. That's what I'm going to be trying to work out here, and I'm going to be using chords that are not like this, not that, not, you know, just like regular, you know, like minors. A's not going to be like that. A minor. If I'm doing an A minor, it's not going to be like that. It's not going to be like that. It's not going to be any of that stuff. I'm going to be using these voicings that are kind of, they're very close in shape here. They're going to be close in shape, close in location, and I just think they're better. I mean, there's a reason why I use these all the time. I mean, if you want to use just basic chords or just like easier shapes of non-basic chords with opens and strings and stuff, that's fine. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just not for me. So so I'm going to be doing that up here. So again, so it's going to be E, A sharp, B, or it's the E maybe down here, or that's what I'm going to be doing. And what I was doing first is this. This is what I'm going to start with, using these chords. I'm kind of, I'm not sure if it's going to wind up being kind of like a major chord first. Because I started out, I was doing something with a kind of a strange voicing like this, of a E9 chord. You do an E9 chord up here, but or maybe like some kind of a minor, E minor to start with. I don't know yet, I haven't figured that out. So I'm going to start with the minor. Try the major here. So I'm going to show you what the other chords are that I'm doing there. So the first one is, I was doing either just kind of like this is just like an E9 chord, which is starting here just on E. It's like going 7, 6, 7, 7. Sometimes I was doing like a minor 9, like that, or you can do something like this. If you just want to do it like just 3 of the notes there. Sometimes I do that too, because doing it like this. Here, let me show you this one. I'm going to do the E minor 9 sort of a thing, but I'm just going to do 3 of the chords. I'm going to do it using this fingering. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because one of the points I put up there in the description is when you use chords like these, you can shift between a whole bunch of different voicings with very, very small changes. And so with that, I'm talking about this, going from this chord here into the second one I was doing. This is a very cool chord. This is more of like a piano player chord. You don't hear as much on guitar. And this is just taking a chord and putting something else in the bass, basically. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually taking basically it's kind of like an A major chord. If you just think of your bar chord like that, okay? Now, I never play the bar chords all the way because, again, I don't like having 2 bass notes together. They clash. I like having well-separated bass and treble notes. And so basically, I'm taking a couple of notes here from the the bar chord, I'm doing kind of like the second string, the third string, and the fourth string. Hope you can hear that. I'm not sure if you can or not. Hold on. Okay, so basically just taking the A major, I'm doing the second string, the third string, and the fourth string. And then instead of doing the A in the bass, instead I'm putting a B in the bass, so we get this. Really cool sound, and you can go between the two and just to kind of hear what it sounds like. I'm going to use my thumb here because it's easier, so I don't have to switch away from the position that I'm doing here for the other chords. Getting a bit of distortion there, I know. I just have my amp cranked, and it's on the other side of the room now instead of being right next to my computer, but I've just been trying to, I don't know, move things around and just find better setup. So that's what I'm doing there. And so from going from that first chord I was talking about to this one, see, when I'm doing this chord, I'm only, even though I'm only holding down 3 strings, the thumb is here in case I want to use it, and it's also here to, if I need to touch the bottom string, to mute that while I strum. And the first finger, I'm using that, and I'm putting it at a certain angle to where it's muting the top strings too, so that way I can strum all of the strings. Whenever I'm doing chords like this. Just because I like that sound. I like having that just clicky, funky sort of in there. And so when I'm doing that, I have those fingers there, one to mute the strings I'm not using, but they're also in position really close by for any sort of chord that I may be doing that is similar in shape. Either it could be this, it could be, you know, this, it could be that, you could do something like that. You know, there's so many different chords that you can do in close proximity to each other. And just by having the fingers there, not only do they mute, but they're really close so that you can just kind of shift to other chords that share a shape with it very easily. So this one here goes to this one here. With these fingers, it's a very small movement. I'm going to put my thumb back up there. I'm not using the thumb here, I don't believe. Yeah, no, I'm not using the thumb for anything on the second chord. So I'm going just from this, and I'm going to that. Very, very small motions here. And that's just a really an awesome sounding chord voicing to begin with. I think a lot of people watching this probably have never used it. I didn't use it until, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. It's not very common, but it's worth checking out. So that's the second chord I was using there. So I did, sometimes I was doing kind of like the 7th chord or the 9th chord like that, even though there's more of a change there. Sometimes you can do it like this. You could do it like that, which is the minor, and then the second chord is like that. The third chord that I was doing is this one. Now this one here is, if you look at the chord I just did before, that A over the B, you kind of take it and it's almost like kind of you're cramping your fingers together, like squish them together. There's a little bit more to it than that, which I'll explain. But this is a A sharp diminished 7 chord. Very cool sound. And so this chord is like this. I'm starting on the 6th string there. We have 6, and then the 5th string is being skipped, okay? And then we have 5, and then we have 6 again on the 3rd string, and then we have 5 again on the 2nd string. No, I keep missing that one. But doing it at the same time. Now this one, if you never played this one is tough, but it is well worth learning. So what I'm doing here is the fingers that I'm using for this are bottom string, 6th fret. I'm using the ring finger. The 4th string, 5th fret. The 1st finger is taking care of that one. The pinky is getting the 3rd string, 6th fret. And the middle finger is getting the 2nd string, 5th fret. So it's like this: ring finger, ring finger, 1st finger, pinky, middle finger. And sometimes it takes some thinking about to get to this chord voicing. I have to think about it too, but that's mainly because I'm not going from one chord to another. I think it's easier to go for me from something to that, just because I spent so much time practicing going from anything to that, just because I wanted to learn how to do it, because it takes a lot. But yeah, that's what I'm doing there. So kind of looking at it from the chord I was doing before that, which was this, it's kind of like going like this. Move down. I'm gonna go really slow movements and really kind of exaggerate it a little bit, but I'm going from this to this. And so it's like going from, the whole thing is moving down a little bit. Now the ring, while moving, the 1st finger moves into position there, the pinky moves into position there, and the middle finger moves into position there. I know it's a little weird just looking at it, and just actually trying to do it is really going to give you the best idea of what I'm talking about. But so that's the 3rd chord I was doing. And the last chord I was doing was this one, which is a, this is the B chord, and I'm doing a B minor 6. So this one goes like this. It's the 7, skipping the 5th, 1st finger on 6 on the 4th string, ring finger on 7 on the 3rd string, pinky on 7 on the 2nd string. Excuse me. Changing between those two, not nearly as much of a nightmare. You're just kind of going like this, and then as you go, you let go a little bit. The 1st finger can stay there. That's kind of like a pivot point. The 1st finger can kind of stay, and then you kind of base your movement around that, because that one is really just going up 1 fret, and then you just kind of rotate everything else around that. So that's a good example of just a way of thinking about when you're moving in between chords like this. But anyway, those are the chords that I'm doing. So I'm going to get back to actually trying to, I don't know, work that out. And again, I'm going from E to A sharp to B. Yep. The chord I'm least happy with is actually the 1st one. So I'm probably, if you see me changing any chord around, it's going to be mainly the 1st one. I'm going to be trying to find a different voicing of an E chord, some kind of an E chord. I still don't even know what kind of E chord. I just know that I want it to be an E. That's just a regular E7 chord, which is that. And using that voicing, it's like doing a basic C7 chord. You know that one there? But just going up to the frets 5, 6, and 7. Which, by the way, that one changes to that second one pretty comfortably too. And that one actually doesn't sound too bad. What about do like a? Ooh, what about that? I do like the sound of that a lot. Maybe put I was thinking putting the bottom E string in there, which is something I've been considering too. But the problem here is that this chord by itself is hard. This is probably the hardest chord, I think, in this progression so far. This is a E7 flat 9. And what it is, it's going like this. It's going, starting from that E there, it's going 7, 6, 7, 6, 7. And to do this one, you kind of have to, your middle finger and your ring finger and your pinky take care of the notes on these 7th frets, and you have to bar across the 6th fret, but you have to be able to hit the 4th string there and the 2nd string there. Both of those have to be sounding, and this is a tough chord voicing. You can kind of see how I'm just crushing that first finger in there, like squeezing it in there for dear life, and then holding it in the way to where my knuckles kind of curving in like that. But at the same time, you also want to make sure that you're not accidentally voicing some on the bottom string if you don't want to. And in this case, I'm kind of like squeezing it for dear life, and so the thumb gets kind of, it really gets kind of frigid there, and it's hard to control. So even I have to like actively pull the thumb way away from the string to make sure I'm not accidentally holding it down, but then that potentially disrupts playing the chord voicing here. So that's a tough one, but I do like the sound of it. That's my favorite one so far, but I'm going to keep looking. What about that's interesting. that is I think that one kind of depends on how you want to look at it, because that could be a couple of different things. That could be a minor with a 6, or a minor. Actually, that would be a 13, because there's a flat 7 and a 6. Having the 7th in there means that it becomes a 13 chord. Whereas if you did not have that 7th in there, say you were doing something like this, what I'm doing here is I'm replacing that flat 7 with just like another root note. So we would have like a 1, 5, 5, flat 3, 6. There, if you do it like that, then you get a minor 6 chord. But no, this is actually if you look at it like this, with starting from A, then that would be like an A13 chord. I would use the thumb here too, because I just find that to be, I don't know. I mean, that works, but I get used to using this sort of a voicing with the thumb here, again, for the reason I was talking about before, just having that there in case I need it to either mute, or if I'm going to be playing a chord where I want to actually use the thumb like this. For that reason too. But I'm not really looking to use it as an A chord. I'm looking to start as an E. So in that case, we would have, what do we have? We have like a 1, we have a flat 3, we have a flat 6, and we have a 9. Okay, so it's like a minor 6/9 chord or something, E minor 6/9. This is one where I'm going to really try to use the bottom E in there just to highlight that I'm doing an E chord here. And I'm not doing some kind of an A minor chord. I do like that a lot too. This one is tough too. I'm finding when I'm hitting the E in there, I'm kind of messing that up, and I accidentally keep hitting the E string with my thumb and muting it, which I'm not trying to do. Part of that I attribute that to just for a couple of things. One, just like a little bit of just the difficulty and not being used to the chords. And also this feels like more of a open voicing compared to what I've been doing, where the entire hand is just kind of wrapped up and I'm kind of like clutching like that. This one is a little bit different than that, so it feels a little different too. But it's really just not playing it a whole bunch of time. I mean, I'm playing these chords through a couple of times where it may take hours and hours and hours, if not days or more, of actually practice to really get in the hang of a certain chord voicing. So I'm really speeding it along too, but I do like that one. But I'm going to keep going, see what else I can come up with. Oh, hold on. Okay, never mind. Yeah, this thing needs help, this guitar. If I take what I was just doing and move that one up, let's try that. I don't know about that one. I mean, I like the chord. I don't know if this is the right place, the right application for it. I think it kind of takes away from the sound of the second chord a little too much, because having this chord in there to begin with sounds very unusual when compared to the other chords that it's in there with, and I don't want to screw up the sound of that. I can see that sounding good as doing a chord that I did on the, maybe after I do the entire cycle once and going back and doing the E a second time and then doing that one. That might work. Something like this. I'm going to go back to the chord before it. Was that? Yeah. And then doing it. You know, something like that. Even then, though, I still probably wouldn't use it there. So let's keep, excuse me, let's keep going. Nah, I think that would be a bit much. Without doing it like that. Ooh. Wrong one. All right, now that I like that a lot too. Within chord changes, you get this voice leading sort of thing in there, and you hear the resolution of certain notes within a chord to certain notes within the next chord. That sounds really cool, and it worked really well. So what I'm hearing there, that chord, by the way, is it's kind of taken the very first one that I did, but instead of just doing the triad, which was like a 1, a flat 3, and a flat 7, and then the 9 there, and then I have a A on top, which is like a 4. So it's like a 1. It has a, wait, what was that? Okay, so 1, flat 3, so it's a minor. It's like a minor 7, and it has another 1 and a 4. So it's like a minor 11 chord, basically. Minor 7 add 11, but minor 11, which is cool. Minor 11 chords are cool. I don't use them enough. But what that is basically I'm going, I'm doing 7, 5, 7, and then 5, 5. So I'm barring like that on the 5th fret, and then these fingers are going like that. I'm hitting the open E in there too. This one is comfortable enough to the point where you can kind of, I can loosen up a little bit and rotate around. And even though I'm barring like that, I can get these ones with the fingertips, which makes it easier to hit the open one there. But at the same time, that pulls me away from the second chord shape a little bit too. But anyway, what I was getting at is that I like there, like you have that sort of emotion in there. Where not that one. That was I like the sound of that in there, which we have between those two chords. Have I just had it. I keep it may just be that I kind of like in there, but then going from this one to that one, it really is the kind of like the that I really like the sound of. Then going from this one to, it's kind of like has like the that I like. I also like the what was it? It would be that, and then it would be that. It actually has that in there. So that's kind of what I was talking about, just having just the smaller intervals in between chord voicings that sound really cool when you put them together. Now that also, that's something to keep in mind there as well, is I've really just been changing the first chord just because I really, really like the way that everything sounds there, but that doesn't mean that everything that I'm doing so far is the way it's going to wind up at the end. And what I just did there at the end is I changed the last chord. And changed it by kind of doing the first one that I've been doing the whole time, the minor sixth, then adding that to it. And again, same approach, just taking a very, very close, a very similar chord, just a small change within that same shape. And what I did there is I took these two strings and I moved them up to here. And I think that I was playing around with that earlier. And I was trying to do that first chord, the E, as doing something like this, or getting a little bit fancy in there. What I was doing is I'm doing a chord that's kind of like this. I'm doing 3, 6, and the third string is muted. It's touching my first finger. The second string is open. I was doing that, and some of the times I was doing this, I was playing the 7th fret, but I was holding that one down instead of doing it open and doing the 7th fret on the first string. Third string still muted for both. So I had that, and I had that. But I got a little fancy there, and I started moving between the two. Which it sounded kind of neat. It's always worth, I think, experimenting with stuff like that. But that made it a little bit hard to change to this chord too. But I think that's a pretty good, thorough demonstration of what it is about chords like this that are really cool. And if you don't use voicings like this, they're tough. They really are. I'm not going to say that they're not. I've done them a lot. All different types of them. I've been doing them for a very long time. But I think they were worth the effort. They sound a lot better. So I'm thinking that, well, I'm seeing something very strange on my screen here. Do you ever see really weird stuff on there if you stream? I don't know. I just did. But anyway, I really like. I'm gonna do that one chord I was doing there. I like that one a lot too. I want to try that one again. That chord is just so tough to switch to. Very tough to switch to. Very tough to switch from, too, especially when you're going from this chord to this one, which already feels pretty unnatural. And the other one I was doing, I liked this one. But I think that one may be another case of I love the chord, but this may not be the right application for it. Now I was doing the other one I really liked was the minor 11. You know what it is in there? If you do the E minor 11 properly, and you get the bar there, which I was hitting it some of the times I was missing it. But when you go from that to that, it almost functions kind of like a sus4 to a major there. That's kind of what I was hearing there. I really like the sound of the change between those two. There's something like that going on. That's what I really like the sound of in there. Maybe like a even something like that. That one's a little too tough though. That one's even worse than the 7-sharp 9. I think it is. Maybe with some work it wouldn't be. But anyway, I mean that's just what I was saying is that's a good demonstration I think of what's really cool about chords like this. And they are very, very tough, very, very hard. Take a lot of work, but they're worth it.